Hello, everyone. Welcome to the pre-show of the Codex podcast. As usual, since episode 1, I'm your host, Sonny Kruger. I'm joined by my usual co-host, Uncle Gary, the Ric Flair comic books himself.
Woo!
Today is a special day because we are celebrating 4 years of the Codex podcast, which became the Codex Station. That is right. So today's June 11th, but it was on June 9th. June 9th on 2020, June 9th in 2021, we aired the first episode of the Codex podcast.
And that started all this nonsense, huh?
It did, and it was quite a way to start, but here we are, still here, and Jamie might not be on the show, but he is still on the Codex Station. So
Yes, he is.
Lasted.
Oh, much love and support out to the master builder, J Dub. We miss you, buddy, and look forward to the next time you are on the air. And we're thinking about you, my friend.
Yeah, yes, we are, man. Especially, like I said, always this time of year, I think back to when he and I, two buddies, started a podcast. Now look at it. Now there's a few more of us. But today, we've got some things going on. We won't be doing a review of a comic, but I got some special things planned for us, in celebration of 4 years of the Codex podcast. But, we'll have some of the usual things. We'll be going over comic book news as usual. We're having Variant Insanity. We're having Right or Wrong. Today, I'm the man with the 5 statements for Right or Wrong. And they're all very Codex themed, for today's celebration. And, of course, there's a random panel of the week. And we'll be having the F list.
The F list.
And Dan was the guy. Dan Kelly was the one who was like, "Hey, have you added this character to the F list yet?" And I'm like, "Not yet," but we decided that this week would be the time to have him join.
Well, there we go. It sounds like you should have saved that for a Dan week.
I asked, but I said, "Do you want me to save?" And he said that he knows the character kind of well. He said, it's fine to put him on a week that I'm not on." So,
okay,
yeah. And seems you've been up to quite a bit lately. So you had a pretty fun day. Met a certain somebody. Somebody was scribbling in some of your books, comics. Yeah.
Jim Calafiore did a few nice sketches for me. If you see him on Opie Taylor on Facebook, you can see what he did for me. My Aquaman omnibus. He did a nice Murrah and Aquaman head sketch, and then I commissioned that Wildcat print. I guess I'll be showing that on this weekend's show, where I commissioned a Wildcat painting that will be turned into a print that'll match the other ones I have upstairs in my JLA JSA section. And I have the original Wildcat print of that, and then I got a Swamp Thing head sketch on a blank cover, and a Aquaman on a blank cover. So there you go. So
I saw you quite a bit. Yeah. So you'll be showing them on
Unleashed on Saturday night.
We have a special guest joining us right now.
Oh, wow.
Who is that jumping on?
Wow.
I didn't realize it was Uncle Gary only, so I wanted to update the intro appropriately.
Well, listen, since you're there, you can hang out with us, man. It's a special anniversary show.
It is, and I created a special anniversary intro.
Well,
let me upload it because I have them modulated so where if Gary and Mike are doing it, it's a Gary and Mike as the co-host. But since Mike's not on,
well, it was a last minute thing. Mike is a very, very important man, and his boss was in town, and so very important things had to happen, and Mike had to pay the bills first.
I always do that.
Got to pay the bills first, absolutely.
All right,
so
I'll hang out for a few minutes while I upload this.
Please.
Sounds good, Sal.
Because Sonny, did you see Sal gave himself a new moniker the other night?
No, I didn't.
I haven't missed that one. What is that one?
Sal is saying, "Welcome back," and this is Slab the Sal guy. I said, whoa. Did you just say Slab the Sal guy? He goes, "No, I didn't. I didn't say that at all." And sure enough, he said Slab the Sal guy. And 10 seconds after our show ended, Dan had already got to that second, clipped it, and sent it to everybody. So he was Slab the Sal guy. And then Sal, crafty devil that he is, he knew immediately that he had done that. And he said, I did not. And he was denying it the whole time. And I didn't. So he had me snowed. I didn't know that. I figured he didn't know he said it, but he knew. Crafty bastard. He's there. Yeah. But he did screw up and say slab the Sal guy. And you know what? That will never die.
Never.
That's
You
better.
Can call me Slab. You can call me Slab. It's good.
Slab the Sal guy. I mean, that's better than gaping holes. That is just
That's
great.
true.
I'll take slab the Sal guy anytime.
Yeah, slab
over
the
that.
Sal guy was pretty great. He was home, and Dan was half asleep. You know, but I wasn't totally asleep. Yeah, I went, whoa, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, he was. I think he was working something with the comments. He was like,
he was distracted. So that was just fantastic. The fun. Oh, and my God, Sonny, if you have not seen it, Chris has created a masterpiece.
Oh yeah,
he has created a ring.
I did see it.
We may all get these rings, and
really?
And Richard must get one of these rings since he bought a sketch cover game. But Chris, the mad scientist, has created Brown Lantern rings.
I did see the video, and I want it.
The Brown Lantern. He made 11 of them. So if you're one of the lucky few, the Brown Lantern.
I'm hoping so.
Not only is it shaped like a toilet bowl, but inside the toilet bowl there is a
nice steamer.
There's a steamer. There's a fresh
dropped
steam
off there
in the toilet bowl. Somebody's dropped off in the pool.
Someone's pinched off a loaf.
Yeah.
If you guys ever hear me say, "Hey, I gotta drop something off
at the pool,"
that's what I mean.
Gotta drop some kids at the pool.
Yeah, take the Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I think I'll say that one more.
Yeah. So Chris, what? You know, the mad scientist at work. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, I want when you guys.
He did this Venom sculpture for me.
Yeah, look at that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fantastic.
You know how Uncle Gary, you always show your Legion ring. We'll all probably show our Brown Lantern ring.
The Brown Lantern rings, you know. I mean, that's just going to be a fashion accessory.
We need to duplicate the cover where Hal has all the rings on his hand.
With the Brown Lantern.
Like all the Brown Lantern rings on his hand.
Maybe one could be a little bit slimy, one's a little bit messy.
Yeah, with all the ones he has. We need to tell Chris to do that. And Chris has got the face for it. So, you know.
And it could look like he has like brown gloves on, but then there's little bits of white and you realize
look at you getting filthy. Look at you getting filthy, Sonny Kruger. You naughty boy.
You know, right now my ring is off. It's getting refitted. It's getting resized. So now I can get my hands a bit dirty. But once it goes on, I got to be clean again.
Oh my! Is that how that works? Is that how it works? You take off the ring and you can be Mama's little deviant again, and you put it on, and there you go.
They just keep pulling me back into it.
They keep pulling me back in. So that's how it works. Okay.
Just trying to be a good man. And sometimes things just get a bit messy.
Yeah, that's right.
Like those Brown Lantern rings.
Mm-hmm. So Sal, this is the 4th anniversary of the podcast, man.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
I look forward to seeing. I did check it out earlier, but I won't click it to play until we get to the actual show. Yeah. So I look how yours says Sal last second update. Smiley face.
Sal is rocking the Fantastic Four shirt ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
I am. You know what? I really the new Superman logo is really growing on me. I really like it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to get the shirt with the new Superman logo.
I tell you, with the Superman movie, I'm hoping it's a nice mix between, you know, the movies we've had lately and the old school Christopher Reeve one. I hope it's a nice in the middle somewhere, you know.
I feel like it is. I kind of get that vibe from the trailers, and especially when they said how it's when it's like, oh, look, the books that's pretty much inspired by Superman for all seasons and All-Star Superman. I can see it being like that. Yeah, I love some stories.
Also, there is a dealer that I buy from Lost Boy Comics. I usually get like a slab book from him. There was Superman annual book coming out. It has him and Crypto on it. So I ordered that to be slabbed at a 9.8. Of course.
Nice.
I was just going to ask. You're getting it slabbed, but I shouldn't have even asked. You are Slab the Cell guy after all.
That's right. That's right.
Sure. The fact that they put crypto in it. I mean, when I saw the trailer with, when he whistled, and I'm like, oh no, is it gonna be crypto? And sure enough, it was crypto coming across the ice to get him that first. I'm like, they had me then. They had me right frickin' then, man. So, giving us crypto, and then the latest trailer.
Finally, yeah.
The latest trailer, Lois said, "You have a dog," and the dog is laying on his chest. Yeah. So,
it's the Superman Unlimited one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I got
Boosh comes in. Hey, Boosh. Boosh says, I think Gunn is going to deliver a damn good Superman flick. I agree.
Boosh, I'm hopeful, man. I'm hopeful, brother.
Hopeful too.
And you know what? I'm hopeful that the Fantastic Four movie is going to have a lot of heart too.
Yeah.
Let's
change that to red. Let's get that red.
There we go.
Not so much clouds as the last Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, I know this one looks. Yeah, this one looks like Galactus is taking a stroll through New York. So the when he was a vapor creature. Yeah.
What was the line from Ghostbusters? We're going about this all wrong. This guy's in New York. You just need to get away.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Sal, I know you just were dropping in soon, but you could stay as long as you want.
I'll stay for the intro, see what you guys think of it, and then I'll head out.
Okay, so here's what we do, Sonny. He has the intro, and let's start talking about other shit, and don't talk about what we think about it, and that means he has to stay.
We make him wait till the very end.
Make him wait, and then the last minute. Oh yeah, by the way, that intro, Sal, that was great.
Yes, sounds good. So everybody, here we go. 4 years.
I just finished the intro for Juggernaut for tomorrow night.
Nice.
Sort of checking that out.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I love Jugs, so I can't wait.
I do too.
Yes.
Spice of life.
Happy birthday!
Did you see that billing that took over the whole thing? Look at that. That was
I did see that.
Happy birthday. That's right.
Officially welcome to another episode of the Codex Podcast. As usual,
Nice
I'm
job.
your host, Sonny Kruger, joined by my co-host, Uncle Gary, the Flair Comics, and for a little bit longer, Sal the Slab Guy, or Slab the Cell Guy.
The creator, the man that makes these wonderful intros and gives us a place to ship the F-listers off to, puts them in F-list prison. So it's really great. Yeah, whoop, they're out of there.
But before we talk about that intro, we've got a lot going on. We've got a whole show ahead of us. We've got comic book news, which there's quite a bit going on, especially today. There's very insanity. There is right or wrong. And today, since it's the Codex Podcast, it was the Codex Podcast's birthday 2 days ago on June 9th, 2021. We aired the first episode of the Codex Podcast when it was just me and Jamie, two guys, two buddies, love talking about comic books. We made a podcast. And here we are today, 4 years later, on episode 157. But also, we got, like I said, so that's a right or wrong. It'll be my 5 statements. We have a random panel of the week. Someone's wishing us a happy anniversary. And we'll be having someone join the F list. Dan Kelly picked that character out. And to finish off the show, we want to have a review. But since it's 4 years, the Codex, we're going over some stuff. And I've got some stuff. Some special things for everyone saved, and that'll show you, remind you of how things were in the beginning.
How does the first episode stand up if you watched it? Now,
I was going over it a little while ago, and it's pretty funny. But I'll show you guys the image right now. I took a screenshot of that very first episode, and there it was.
Wow! Look at those babies.
Look at that. Jamie, look, he would either look at the camera or look to the screen next to him, and I was looking down almost the whole episode.
Look. Sonny didn't even have enough letters to make Sonny. He just had an S back then.
That's right. Yeah, now look, you see I have the SK. Back then it was literally just the
It was
S.
just
I
an
noticed
S.
the other two, like,
Just an S. Yeah. Now look at
Crazy.
they were babies.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Look at them. Now look at them. They're all almost grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that was but there were certain things we were pretty good, right? But it was obviously I even said I'm like, this is the first one, we're gonna mess up a lot. Feel free to put it in the comments. But we still had some highlights, some moments that were good. And on there, I went over some of it yesterday, or technically this morning, because I stay up till like 6 a.m. And Jamie, I said something. Oh, I said maybe one day I'll pick out for us to review Zombie Stripper. And Jamie's like, I don't know if we'd be able to talk about that. Maybe that's for Codex After Dark. And then eventually there was After Dark, which
Wow.
Codex Unleashed now. So some things for the future.
Good deal. Well, you all growed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Boosh had said, bravo, Sal, bravo.
Thank you, sir.
And Dan
Appreciate
Kelly
it.
came on and said, it's like if you're dating a supermodel now and you look back at your first girlfriend named Edna.
Yeah.
And the mole. What?
Animal.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna drop then. So
All right. Good job.
take away the show.
It was great. Thank you for making that. Always thank you for all the stuff you do for us, the Codex Podcast.
You know me. I am Slab the Sal guy. Come on, you know that.
Slab the Sal. All right.
All right, guys. See ya.
See
Your
ya.
slab. Okay. So we got that. Next, a little bit later, I'll go over some more stuff. Codex. Like I said, I wanted to pull out a picture, a screenshot from the first one. But let's get on to some news.
How many episodes did you do before Tim joined you?
Tim had joined on episode 10. He appeared as a guest. And then a few episodes later, my father had passed away. So Tim jumped in and stepped in as a guest. Then I was back the next week. But then he started to appear as a guest. And it was like around the early 20s when he became our official third seat. And then it's been usually 3, sometimes 2. And then a little bit last year, a little over a year ago, we started doing a rotating schedule.
Did you ever have to do an episode with just one of you?
There is one Sonny Kruger episode, Kelly. Is it 85? I believe it's 85, and I did. It was a summer, as we know. Even now, things are always so busy. So-and-so is here, so-and-so is there. And I said, we're missing too much. Screw it. I'm doing a solo episode, and I did. So there is one. I believe it's Codex Podcast, episode 85. Sonny's solo adventure, and I literally had it happen. It happens to be an hour on the dot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So for that one, since
you were a 60-minute man.
Yeah, I pulled it off, and since there was no one to go along with the F list, I just I did the thing. I went over everybody who was on the F list at that time and showed pictures of each person of who was on there at the time. Oh yeah. Fun times. And now it's time to get to some of the rundown because there's a lot of news in the comic book news. Image has a lot of celebrating to do as it's hitting its anniversary, its 30th anniversary, 30th year anniversary, 20th, 10th. So they're releasing a lot of comic books, a lot of reprints lately. I'll get on to more of some of those, but real quickly, like Astro City is some of them, Witchblade. So a lot of facsimiles coming out. If you want to check out some Image, over the years they've come with a lot of great comic books. So huge milestone anniversaries for Image. But somebody has been a bad boy. Maybe all this time he was right. I thought, isn't it weird? Like this news comes out right around the birthday of Codex, a little birthday gift for Jamie, and that is that people are taking down Jared Leto. Jamie's always had a vendetta against him, and now 9 women are accusing Jared Leto of being very inappropriate. He's accused, and many women, some of them are saying that he was sexually inappropriate with them, even when they were underage, when they were still minors. Yeah, so now he is in trouble. So I wonder what that means for the He-Man movie. And means for him. People, keep your hands to yourselves. Come on. And no means no. But one thing that some people are saying no to, and some are saying yes, We were talking about this a little bit last week, but it's still the news is still going over to this week, and there's that Black Panther is set. There's set to be a white Black Panther. His name is Katima, and some people are a bit upset about that. This is supposed to he's set to be the son of T'Challa, so obviously it makes him half. But well, it's got a lot of people talking. We'll get onto that in a little bit. But more news is that Crossbones might be coming back to the MCU. Actor Frank Grillo has hinted towards Crossbones making his return. There's been some guys that have been in the MCU. Giancarlo Esposito, who was recently in the new Captain America movie. But, some may know him from Breaking Bad and other shows. The Gentleman, a whole bunch of stuff. Giancarlo Esposito is going to be at Baltimore Comic Con. So if anybody's going there, it's going to be October 17th through the 19th. And Giancarlo is set to be there.
I will be there.
There you go. Maybe you'll even get to meet him, old Gus Fring. But somebody's coming back from the dead. He's got quite a fist. He is Iron Fist. And that is in the Undead Iron Fist, which Danny Rand is set to come back. And it's set to be a 4-issue limited series by Jason Liu and Fran Galan.
I did not even know Iron Fist was dead.
Me neither. I'm like, oh, he's undead now? All right. Well, if anybody wants to check that out, it comes out in September. When Iron Fist in his 50th anniversary special. So Iron Fist turning 50. So he'll be coming back. All right, Uncle Gary, what is anything grab your attention the most? Like I said, there's a lot going on this week.
I think what I'm curious about is the reorganization of DC and the Time Warner Discovery. They kind of split their forces there, where there's a streaming part of Time Warner with the movies and things like that, and then there's like the Discovery Channel has their own but they kind of split, same company, but they kind of split duties, and DC Comics is in with the streaming part of the split, it seems. So I think that's interesting. I hope it bodes well. I mean, for a while there, I was really disappointed a few years ago where DC had fired almost all the people in charge of, reprinting some of their collections and things like that, where, I thought there were a lot of great DC stories that were out there that just hadn't been collected. And DC started the DC's Finest line, within the past year. It kind of mirrors.
Say guys, better late than never. That's right.
It mirrors Marvel's Epic line, and I think it's a great value way to get these stories. But lately, in the new previews, they finally are collecting the Spectre volume 3, I think, by Ostrander and Mandrake, that went 62 issues and is one of the greatest comic runs I've ever read. I love the character, so I'm biased, but it was so good. And Peter Tomasi, who edited that book, has been on DC for years to collect it, that it needs to be collected. So it's going to be done in 2 hardbacks. So the first one will collect issues 0 through, I guess, 31, and then the last will be probably 30, 32 through 62, and maybe the annual. And that is fantastic news. And then at some point, Warlord is supposed to be collected. That has been announced. It hasn't been announced.
You're a big fan of?
Oh, yeah. So I think there's going to be 2 omnibuses of that, of Mike Grill's Warlord. So the fact that they're reprinting some of these great DC stories makes me feel great. The fact that the DC's Finest is, that they're rolling out like 3 or 4 new ones every month, where you can get some of this, great older DC material collected in an affordable format, is fantastic. So I'm happy with that. So hopefully those things will continue, with the new reorganization. Hopefully, I'm hoping the James Gunn Superman movie is just fantastic, and that gets, that boosts the whole comic side of the business for DC too.
Yeah, and Boosh says, Warlord needed to be collected years ago, and I agree.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Boosh, I have all the original issues, and they're great, but there was only a trade paperback that collected like the first 7 or 8, and then there were trade paperbacks of Mike Grill did a 8-issue miniseries after the regular series was over. They collected that, and then I think Bart Sears did a Warlord series, 6-issue mini, and that was collected. But that was pretty much it. The original stuff that was so good, beyond those first 8 issues or so, never collected. So this is a big honking deal, and I can't wait for this to finally happen. And
Yes, and I'm sure you'll be showing those on episodes of After Dark or
Mhm.
Comics Unleashed. I said After Dark. I was thinking about the old times, but yeah, Comics
Mhm.
Unleashed. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and you know what? Bruce had a comment, so all right, we'll go on to Jared Leto's accusations. And Bruce said, "I'm suing Leto because I once heard part of a song he did,
Ah!
and I gave that one a star.
I think
Part of a song.
Sonny's out giving stars again. Yeah, that's hard to refute there. I hear you.
Yeah, well,
That's the cat
looks
that
like you won't
takes
be
himself
hearing much of his music
seriously.
anymore. Sorry, Gary, it kind of went off for you a little bit. What did you say?
I said that's the cat who takes himself way too seriously.
Yeah, no, well, these are some very serious accusations, so he's going to be in some trouble. The He-Man, like I said, he's set to play Skeletor, so I really wonder what that means. But you know that, um, when it came to Ezra Miller getting in all of their trouble, that it came. I was still wondering about the Flash, and they still put Ezra as the Flash. So I wonder if the same will happen with Jared Leto, because He-Man, it's still, or Masters of the Universe, still further away. I mean, I think it'd be wise to recast. Maybe put a host of the show on there. But speaking of other roles I can get, actually, there's rumors that Jeremy Allen White, for being Lip on Shameless, and then being Beer on The Beer, rumors that people are looking at him like he's going to be in a new X-Men film. They wonder he's going to be Wolverine, he's going to be Cyclops. Yeah. And then how you mentioned James Gunn. James Gunn mentioned that the new Wonder Woman movie is actually being written. Right now, it's in the writing process.
Who's writing? Is it King?
You know, he says it's being written, but I'm not too sure exactly who. I don't want to just throw a name. But yeah, so Gal Gadot will be replaced. There will be a new Wonder Woman.
I really like Gadot as Wonder Woman.
I thought she did a great job. Like, I thought it was kind of right for her, except for when she said that Kal-El no. I see. At one point in Justice League, she said, "Yeah, Kal-El no," and it's been in a lot of compilations of like saying she's so bad at acting. And I'm like, I really didn't catch it the first time, but I really enjoyed the Wonder Woman movies.
I did too.
Yeah, the second one, even though I know a lot of people put that one down, but that's maybe one of those movies that like there's some movies that a lot of people put down, and you're like, for some reason I still like it. That's one of those ones I still enjoy.
It was okay, but yeah, it was a disappointment to me. But
and Hans Zimmer's soundtrack always doing good.
Great theme for her. And one of the really cool things about the Superman movie is them keeping the theme.
Yeah,
the original theme. And why would you get rid of that?
You just keep it the way it is. Everyone loves it, so why get rid of it? Yeah, but before I talk about a lot of the comic books coming out, so Image with their anniversary coming out, Kurt Busiek's Astro City is one of the ones that's going to be number one is going to be re-released, in facsimile edition. Descender, Fell, Godland, Hunter Killer, I Hate Fairyland. All these are from number ones. Yeah, the Old Guard number one, Paper Girls number one, Tokyo Ghost number one, Witchblade number one. So a lot of those are getting facsimile. So for you Image fans, they're gonna have some facsimiles of those ones. Yeah. And Bruce says, "Is there a start date for the GLC show yet?" Not too sure. What other things going on? Yeah, the Black Panther. All right, let's get on to some Black Panther news about that. Here is an image. Last time we talked about it, but here's an image of Katima, the one who was set to take over as Black Panther. There he is. He doesn't look like he'd be T'Challa's son, but it's saying that he is T'Challa's son.
It does not look like he would be T'Challa's son.
No, he's got some white. He's got some blonde hair. Got some long blonde hair.
Yeah.
He's set to be the one to take over. And then now the internet's going crazy saying Ryan Gosling is going to play Black Panther. And Uncle Gary, we have an image. There you go.
Wow. That's
yeah.
That's not good.
No, some photoshops of Ryan Gosling as Black Panther, but there is no true talk of Ryan Gosling being Black Panther in the MCU or anything like that. And Dan Kelly said Astro City is a masterpiece. And Dan, you were the first guy I thought of when I saw Astro City. I'm like, I know Dan likes Astro City a lot. So, and even Booge agreed. Agreed, Dan, Astro City was an excellent book. I've got to check that out. So a lot of stuff going on in the news. Like I said, we've got a lot going on here. Uncle Gary's there. Anything else? Oh, Liz says, ugh. What's she in that exact voice?
Yeah, I'm not happy about that either. So, yeah.
All right, but with all the news, with all the stuff going on, what do you think about Katima, Uncle Gary? Because so it's going to be a storyline. He's taking over.
And is this guy in the comics?
I believe he's a new character. I try to look him up. Everything just leads me to this.
It looks like a comic image. Listen, I'm not. It's Black Panther, not Kimba the White Lion. So I'm not. And for those of you old enough to know that reference, I'm not buying this. Come on, we can do better than that. Black Panther does not need to be, light skinned, or that white looking. I mean, okay, sure, if it's someone of mixed race, okay, but he doesn't need to be that light skinned.
And Dan Kelly with one of the best comments. He says, Sonny will be the MCU's new Black Panther. I'll take the mantle. I'll do what I have to do. But I'd rather play Blade. I always like the feeling.
Is he more of a panther or a kitten, Dan?
More of a panther.
Sonny the kitten.
I'd rather play Blade.
He curls up at the villain's feet and purrs.
But then I scratch him.
Here, Sonny, do this for me.
I will not be licking my paws like that. Maybe if you send me like a Swamp Thing number 9, because I know you got multiple ones, then as I open it, I'll do the lick. On air.
You're going to have to do a lot more than that for a Swamp Thing 9, baby.
But, so, okay.
Maria will have to give me a waiver.
I don't even want to ask what for. But yeah, so Kadima, for me, I feel like it's an Elseworld story because it's T'Challa's older. It seems like he's telling his past. This is an image from that comic. So it seems that his son, who doesn't look like he'd be his son at all, Katima, is going to take over. I think this is for an Elseworld story, just for a little bit of time, and I don't think this is going to be canon because it's going to bring a lot of hate. It's going to make people a lot angry, and I think he's going to be a villain.
Okay, so I thought this was a joke when somebody was saying it was a white dude going to be the Black Panther, but please let it be a joke. This is ridiculous.
And let's see. Bruce says, haha, I thought he was going to be the villain that goes around murdering action figures.
There's only one of those. Of those. Matter of fact, Booge, if you look very carefully in the one of the Toy Story ones where they're shipping the toys off, it's set in like a postal setting, and in the back, there in the post office has the posters up. There's a wanted poster of Sonny in there for abusing toys.
Not true.
Yeah.
Dan Kelly says for the Black Panther, this reeks of the shock value Marvel went for when they made Captain America a Nazi.
Stevel, when they made Stevel.
I don't even want to.
And he says Hail Hydra.
Okay, I knew the Hail Hydra part, but truly make him a Nazi, yeah. Like I said, more like going for it.
Well, I guess that's what he was referring to.
Bruce, yeah, that's the Black Panther's son. That's what online saying. That's everything. Even Marvel, everybody's saying that is Black Panther, T'Challa's son.
Listen, you know what I think? I think that Black Panther needs to go on Murray Povich and get the DNA test because I don't think that's his son.
I will completely.
T'Challa, you are not the father.
And then the woman runs out crying to the back. And T'Challa, he could do a crazy little dance in celebration.
And that's when the Winter Soldier goes. The White Wolf.
There you go, the White Wolf. But yeah. So we'll see when that comes out. And I said, I think it's going to cause some problems there. I think they're getting the shock value. They're getting people talking, but sometimes, I know there's.
Hopefully it's some kind of misdirection bullcrap.
There's that saying, if no publicity is bad publicity, but I think some publicity is bad, But yeah, I think this is just for a story, and then eventually Katima will just be a different kind of character, yeah. And Bruce says that's definitely a science fiction story. But with Katima, with Ryan Gosling, with all of them,
It's just
it's
bad.
really
Bad.
I might say it's insane.
Oh, really? It's insanity time. So is that the extended dance mix of that?
I'm gonna guess so. Yeah,
Man, Sal taking it to
he
the club.
is.
Wow.
And one last thing before Bush, it's a curse to have white babies. T'Challa. Maybe that's the storyline. Maybe someone did that to him.
That's terrible. Yeah, he was a sorcerer did it to him.
Maybe that will get a lot of variance.
Oh, there you go.
But okay, Uncle Gary, everybody, would you all like to take a guess as to which comic book had the most covers this week?
Okay, so I was in Comic Logic today. I like a dummy. Every time I'm going to be on the show, I forget to ask Rob what had the most variance. But there was a book that I noticed had a lot of variance, and it's something that you use when it rains. The Umbrella Academy had a lot of variance. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Like I'm curious, mention Comic Logic. There you go. You can find it. See it just right
Thank you.
there. All right, let's see what everybody else has. So Uncle Gary going with the Umbrella Academy. Booge going with Thundercats.
If Thundercats came out, then that won. I don't know if it came out. But if it did, yeah, that won. A Dynamite book won. But I just knew that book had a lot.
All right, let's see. Let's give everybody a little bit of time. And you know what? There you go. Dan Kelly with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So there you go. We got the usual two in Thundercats and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Uncle Gary's going with the Umbrella Academy. And is there anybody else who would like to take a guess? I'll give you that countdown. The 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This week, the comic book that had the most variance is a comic book that Mighty Mike loves, and that is Something is Killing the Children.
There we go. And he missed his opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, and Liz had to go on with the Absolute Batman. But all right, so it is Something is Killing the Children, issue number 42. And now it's time to take a guess as to which comic book had, or as to how many covers it had.
Okay, so it's issue 42.
Who said not sure? What all came out? Yeah, so I'm always getting. He always goes with Dynamite, which is always usually a safe bet.
So if it's issue 42, I'm going to invert it and say 24.
Okay, we're going with 24 covers for Something's Killing the Children, and Dan Kelly's giving you one up and going with 25. And Bruce says Something is Killing the Wallet. You know, there's a website. Yeah, there's Bruce is going with the Uncle Gary, going with the 24.
All right, see what happens.
And yeah, certainly to buy all the variances, it will definitely do some damage to someone's wallet. I know it would put quite a dent in mine. You know, well, let's see. Okay, so this week, Something is Killing the Children hit a total of 18 covers.
No, 18 covers.
And Liz had just come in with the 12. So she was, when it comes to being close, she was only 6 off and didn't go over.
I was only 6 off.
Yeah, you're right. So you and Booge were 6 ahead. This was 6 behind.
There we
Either
go.
way, it's 18 covers for Something is Killing the Children, issue number 42. And now it's time for some right or wrong. And earlier today, I'd been talking about how today is the 2 days ago on June 9th was the 4-year birthday / anniversary of the Codex podcast. So my right or wrong statements go all with Codex. But real quick, Dan, it's a question of how many did Mike buy? If there's, I'm gonna go with 18.
You know what? Because Mike, yeah, he probably would have, because Mike, his boss was in town. He wasn't even in the shop this morning.
I'm kind of wondering.
So I don't even know if Mike has been by yet.
Now I'm kind of wondering, is that why he's not here? He got all those variants. He's
reading all those variants right now.
Maybe. Well, I hope he gets them. That boss needs to hurry up so that Mike can buy more comic books. All right, so my 5 right or wrong statements, and everybody feel free to jump in with right or wrong. These all go with Codex. Number 1, the Codex podcast deserves to win some awards.
Oh, well, of course it does.
And I say right.
And I think the category would be best co-host.
I would give it that as well. But also best host. I would give it the co-hosts, best host.
Co-host? Best co-host?
Right. Hey, I'm a changed man. Those are my past days. Those are the days before. Those are clean shaven, Sonny.
Clean shaven, baby face,
That's
Sonny.
exactly right.
Was the lady killer? Is that what it was?
Just a lady lover. No killing for me. Bruce said right. Yeah. And Dan Kelly says right.
Absolutely.
And yeah, hey, there's a chance. Dan Kelly, would you be a dear and put it in the comments as to where they can nominate us? There's some awards going on. Some comic book awards going on where we could be nominated. But okay, I'll get on to number 2. Statement number 2. Jamie, this one's for you, buddy. My second statement is Jamie Wojcik made one of the smartest choices in human history when he chose Sonny Kruger to host the Codex podcast with him.
Wow. Those the choices you make that are really important, like choosing Oppenheimer to lead the Manhattan Project, and then choosing Sonny Kruger to be a host. Those are pretty important choices in world history. So it's right up there.
So, I say right. Yeah. Man, I will always give Jamie that credit. I mean, the smart choice, he got me before anybody else got me. So, and number 3, Wednesdays are not complete without the Codex podcast.
I will go along with that. That is right. It's just not quite the same without it. Being able to look Sonny in those pretty eyes of his, and just melt. I mean, what more is there to life?
Yeah, right there. But yeah, and for number 2, thank you, Booge and Dan, saying right. But yeah, for number 3, yeah, Wednesdays, my Wednesdays are not complete without Codex. Every week, there's any time when there's not an episode, no matter what I've got going on, I'm like, something it's my Wednesdays don't feel right without the Codex podcast. And Bruce said, give Mommy's little deviant a chance to turn his life around.
There you go. When Jamie that chance, and Sonny was on the work release program, and he was trying to reestablish himself into society and being a productive member. Not all the times do these programs work out. There's a high rate of recidivism. Is that the recidivism? What's the word? Well, the word.
Yeah.
Repeat offenders. But Sonny channeled his energies into just mangling action figures, and that he's with that outlet, he's become a fairly responsible member of society. So good job.
Number 4. Okay, this one's for all of you. Gary, it's almost like you set this one right up. Number 4, the Codex Station has saved many toys from. The Codex Station has saved many toys from destruction by keeping Sonny Kruger busy and live on air.
Oh, Bill, that's 100% absolutely slam dunk right.
That one I'm actually gonna go with wrong. I always
Wrong.
behave. That's wrong. Got to put one wrong in there.
That is absolutely 100% correct. You, my friend, are wrong. Don't sit there. Remember, acceptance, not denial, will move you ahead in life. You're denying those tendencies you have to mangle plastic action figures that didn't do a damn thing to you.
Lies, lies, lies. GNR lies. Use a little patience. But Boosh says that's damn right. For number 4. Tanya, I'd behave. All right, number 5 is the Codex Station will continue to bring joy to those who watch/listen for many more years to come. And I say that's damn right.
Damn right.
All right, so everybody, I think we were all pretty much in agreement. We know how this one. Having some fun today and bringing everyone to enjoy that. Yes, the Codex Podcast deserves to win some awards. That Jimmy Wojcik made one of the smartest choices in human history when he chose Sonny Cougar to host the Codex Podcast with him. And like you said, Uncle Gary, those big moments in history when just deciding who's going to do this, who's going to be the first president of the United States, who's going to, lead making the nuke, who's going to host the Codex Podcast. Big moments in history.
Big moments in history. That's right. When those moments come and you have to make that decision, there you go. When the Chicago Bulls decided to draft Michael Jordan,
exactly. That's what it was like.
They made that decision. That's right.
That's the best, probably the best comparison right there. MJ getting picked number 3, me getting picked. I don't know how many people Jamie went to before me, but he went to me, and I got, I agreed to the point.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history. And then, we said Wednesdays are not complete without the Codex Podcast. And that is true. I don't know what to do. My Wednesdays are incomplete without it. And then we went to number 4. And Dan said this about number 4 when it came to, the Codex Podcast has saved many toys from destruction by keeping Sonny Cougar busy and live on air. Dan said, whenever you don't see Sonny's hands, it's because he's eviscerating toys.
Listen, what's happened is we all got Sonny the fidget spinners, and we got him the little things you can pop in and out, so he can do that, and that keeps his hands from destroying things.
Well, Boosh has another nice one. Once again, he said, on par with Miller taking over Daredevil. I think that goes with Jamie choosing me, and hey, I love that because I absolutely loved Frank Miller's run on Daredevil.
Well, classic Miller. If it's Miller,
that's obviously what he's going for.
If it's Miller taking it over right now and drawing it, that'd be a bad choice.
He means the '80s one, with the Electra, everybody.
You hope he does.
I'm sure he does. That's what we're going with.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does too. For your sake.
See, Dan, I'm putting those hands up.
And those hands, man.
Yeah. But also, there's the 5 statements for this week in Right or Wrong. And now, some may say it's the Codex's birthday. Others may say it's our anniversary. So it's time for a random panel of the week. And there we go.
There you go.
Yes. No, this is the season of merriment, of marriage, of mirth. And in line with the time of the year, we of Chamber of Chills have our own special way of wishing you a happy anniversary.
Wow. You think when he gets there in the wedding room, he's going to bone her?
I would agree, since they're only made of bones.
She's getting boned for sure.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's too much, if it'll break.
Yeah.
Break her apart.
Are they brittle? Yeah. Maybe they've had a lot of calcium, and that's not going to be a problem. Look, I like how he's keeping that top hat on, with that bear skull.
He does. He just had to get a very big one.
Yeah.
To, keep it on.
Yeah. No, that's a great panel today.
Pooh said he was talking about Hank Miller. he meant to say more. He meant to say Frank.
Well done, Boosh. Well done.
He just spelled it wrong.
Hank Miller.
He just spelled it wrong. He said a lot of going.
uh,
Gary, you're the man who knows all the horror comics. So, Chamber of Chills.
Chamber of Chills was an old horror book, and then Marvel brought it back in the 70s, but they had they used the reprint material from the old Chamber of Chills in it. So, but yeah, it's a classic horror title. So there you go.
Well, there we go. I was looking for something happy anniversary one. I saw that and I said, there you go. That is perfect. So happy anniversary to us.
That'll be Sonny and Maria celebrating their 200th anniversary.
Pretty much, yeah. Hey, well, who's planning on keeping me alive? Hey, my time is going to come one day. I understand, God puts us here for a certain amount of time, and I'm grateful for all my time. But guys, one day my time will come. Don't keep my body going. If 200 years, let my body go. Let my spirit carry on. Don't make me be a skeleton like them. Just let me go.
Maybe the skeletons getting ready to have some fun now.
Hey, but yeah, they can. Let me go. Let my spirit go. But all right, you know what it's time for. What comes after random panel of the week? It's time for the F list. Everyone, it's time for the F list. But first, we got a few more comments. One from Dan Kelly was about the random panel of the week. We said they're really big fans of the Fishbone song, Bonin' in the Boneyard.
Bonin' in the Boneyard. That's right.
And then Richard came along and said, hi, guys. Hey, Richard. Welcome to the special 4-year anniversary episode of the Codex Podcast.
Richard, we have to tell you, if you weren't here earlier, Chris Schwartzlander, Snoop, has created brown lantern rings. It is a sight to behold. That's all we can say.
Coming soon.
The brown lantern rings are amazing. So just to whet your appetite.
Yes, they are. And Boo said when it comes to those skeletons in Marvel Universe, they would have a baby with skin.
Yeah, that's right.
Said, hit that like button. Yes, hit that like button. And he said TMNT with 28 variants. Richard, you're a little late to the show. We had our variant insanity, and I could show you. It was Something's Killing the Children, number 42, and it had 18 variants. So, all right. Now on to that F list. And this is Dan Kelly, our very own Dan Kelly, picked this character out. He is Walrus, who there says, actually, I don't feel any different at all. I can't do anything new.
Wow.
He holds that hammer.
That's quite the hammer.
And there he is. Kill. He's charging forward. And there he is, breaking through the wall. He said, woo woo. As you see him, he's got that big old gut. He's got the W with all the different colors. And he's dressed like a walrus.
Was he a pride walrus?
I would say, yeah, he's got the pride flag.
He's got the pride flag, so you can't, it's Pride Month. So the walrus is off to a good start.
It's off to a good start, but as as the team from last week, the Rainbow Raiders, learned, no one's safe from the F list.
I think I saw him in a commercial for Geico in the goalie mouth, where they had the walrus as the goalie. There you go.
All right, there you go. He's making his way into commercials after he puts his fist. And this picture looks like he's got his fist through. I don't know if that's a toilet seat or not, but he says, I bet I could be the best mass destructionist in the world, or pretty near.
Yeah, I am. I am not familiar with the walrus.
And there he is when he's around the Defenders. And that's when he was like, I beat them. I beat the Defenders. This is fun. I'm the greatest supervillain in the world. Look at that. That's from Defenders 131. But well, he didn't have so much luck with Spider-Man, who caught his punch. And when he mentioned his name, Spider-Man said, you're serious? And he said, uh-huh. Because there was, proportionally speed, strength, and agility of a walrus. Walrus says, uh-huh. And Spider-Man says, you're serious? Uh-huh. And he just laughs and laughs and laughs.
Wow.
But Spider-Man wasn't done embarrassing him, because there's Spider-Man flicking him.
Wow.
Just flicks his face.
If he flicks him, would that be bestiality?
Hey, there you go. I guess it would be, yeah. But there we go. Here's the walrus sitting on top of Deadpool. Say it, say it. Deadpool says, "I'm not worthy." That's from
Wow.
Fear Itself, Deadpool. And here we go. Here's the walrus with the white rabbit, right? They're doing a big chatting. And then she wants them to be, two team together to team up. And she says, that they'd be, from this day forth, the world shall know and fear us as the Terrible Two. And Walrus replies, the Terrible Two what? And she says, put me down, nitwit, and I'll explain.
Mm.
So there's our F-lister of the week, Walrus. And Bruce says he's off the walrus.
Wow.
Yeah, and all right, Uncle Gary, would you like to take a guess as to the walrus? How much do you know about this guy?
Let's see. I'm going to say that he hailed from an island off the coast of the Yukon Territory in the upper Pacific Northwest, and he, all the walruses would gather there when it was mating season, and so as a young lad, Frank Tuska saw all the walruses mating, and it just inspired him that he thought that if he could be a walrus like that, he could get that kind of action and mate on a remote island whenever he wanted to, and that inspired him to be a walrus.
All right, Uncle Gary. Frank Tuska's actual name is Hubert Carpenter.
Okay, Frank Tuska is way better than
It
Hubert
is.
Carpenter.
I do agree with you. And his relatives are so his name is Hubert Carpenter. His uncle is named Humbert Carpenter. Now, if you've read Lolita, the name Humbert kind of stands out as be careful. But I won't judge everyone named Humbert. But in reading, I need to be careful because there's Humbert in Lolita, and then there's Humbert, the walrus's uncle, who was the one who actually turned him into.
So, do you think what was that Nakova who wrote the Lolita? You think he had anything to do with writing the Walrus?
You know what? He might have if his time, if he was writing comic books at the time.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did. Or maybe, the creators of Walrus are Peter Gillis and Alan Kuberberg. Maybe they were reading Lolita at the time, but they gave him the name of Hubert Carpenter. And the first appearance of the Walrus was back in Defenders 131.
Wow.
With the cover date of February 1984. And so the character Walrus, who, Hubert Carpenter was formerly a New York City cab driver. And, he was living with his uncle, Humbert, who Humbert said he was going to help his nephew get special powers. And what happened? Gave him the powers of a walrus. But what did he do with those powers? He went to a life of petty crime. And that's when he battled the Defenders, which actually was doing pretty good. He's got some power to him. However, he was stopped by Frogman.
Okay. Right there, that puts him on the F list. The Frogman beat him.
Oh, it's not even over, Uncle Gary. Because then White Rabbit and Walrus came across each other, right? And she said, they became the Terrible Two. However, she was getting a whole team of Frogman villains to team up against Frogman.
There's a team of Frogman villains. That's very disturbing for me.
It is. I need to find every member of that team, and it seems like they all need to go on the F list. So they all, White Rabbit and Walrus, the Terrible Two, and some others went against Frogman, and they lost. Frogman, of course, did have the help of Spider-Man, but still, he still couldn't beat Frogman. And let's see. Boo says his mom was a walrus and his dad was a SeaWorld employee.
Wow. That sounds like some interspecies hanky-panky there.
Hey, you know what? They don't mention his parents. All they mentioned was his uncle Humbert, who gave him these powers. Then there was Fear Itself, which he took on Deadpool. There you go. We see that thing. And Deadpool gave him a hammer, thinking he can trick him with it, but saying it was the power of the serpent's worthy. However, it was not that powerful, but it still had some powers. So therefore, that's why he was able to do some stuff with it, but only at certain times of the day, like when it was light. So Deadpool tricked Walrus into going down into a basement where there was no lights, and then he used the sheriff's weapon. Deadpool used the sheriff's weapons down there to easily defeat Walrus, and then that was it, wasn't it? He was an all new, all different Marvel. Later on, he teamed up with a character named Goldbug, but they were defeated by Goldbug and White Rabbit. So him and White Rabbit, the Terrible Two, got together again. And what happened? They were defeated by Spider Woman. They were taken to the prison, the Cellar, which is the prison run by Empire Unlimited. And eventually, due to things being pretty bad there, I'll just read this part. Walrus was placed in a glass tube alongside Ox. When Ox asked Shannon Stillwell how they are supposed to live like this, Shannon said that they wouldn't, and then proceeded to put them into stasis within their tubes. But the Walrus was presumably freed alongside all the others in the Empire Unlimited captives when Regent's plans were thwarted by Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Mary Jane Watson. So, the Walrus is still out to this day. He's not dead. He could be in a comic book anytime. And now certain things.
Scary thought.
Yeah, so it's not over. His powers, superhuman. It says that Hubert has superhuman strength and can lift 5 tons. He has superhuman durability. However, one thing that was pointed out on Marvel.fandom was it said that Walrus claims he possesses the proportionate strength, speed, and agility of a walrus.
And intelligence.
Probably, yeah. But that actually means with him having the strength, speed, and agility, that would mean that he's actually much weaker and slower than the average human being.
Okay.
So therefore, he really shouldn't be much of a threat since his power technically would make him worse. And Booch says this guy couldn't beat eggs. There's a Marvel DC crossover. Maybe we will see the Walrus versus Egg Foo. That will be tested out to see who really wins. Maybe the newer style Egg Foo, because obviously the original is not going to be brought back. But there's been different variations of Egg Foo. So, Uncle Gary, everybody, are we kind of in agreement that Walrus is an F-lister?
Might as well turn that W into an F on his chest.
That is exactly right. Dan Kelly, good job picking out this F-lister of the Walrus. He's in the F-list, and I think he stays there. I don't really see him getting out. I don't see why there'd be good use for a villain named the Walrus who continues to lose to Frogman.
I agree.
I'm interested to see, how Spider-Man has the Sinister Six. Hey, looks like Frogman has his rogue of villains who have teamed up that include Walrus and White Rabbit.
That's a terrible.
So, the Walrus.
Terrible. That's terrible.
The Walrus joins the F list. But all right, we usually do a review, but this week we decided to settle down, go over some Codex stuff. So feel free to ask me anything about Codex, talk about how we began. I'll give you a little quick story. The year is 2021, and I'm filming my very first show. I'm filming the pilot for my show, a series about a series. And then throughout filming, one day I get a call. Jamie, hey, you want to talk? So talk to Jamie, and he said he has this idea. He sees that on certain comic groups online, which reminds me to tell everybody to go check out Comic Character of the Day, the Facebook group. We're all on there. Get to see different stuff every day, different character of the week, or different comic character of the day, random panel of the day, covers of the day. So good stuff there.
I think today's character is Quicksilver,
yes,
I believe.
It is Quicksilver. So, Jamie saw that I was a part of, different comic book groups. I would comment things, and then he said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast about comic books, and would you like to go on there? Would you like to be my co-host on there? And I was like, okay, sounds pretty good. I'm like, but I'm like, so it'd be your show and I'm on there sometimes. And he said, no, he said, if I do this, I want it to be 50-50 and that we're on there all the time. So we chatted and I said, okay, we agree that it's going to be something that's every week. We don't do it an episode here, an episode there. We agree that it's a weekly show. We're in agreement on that. And then I said, okay, but I'm filming my first show. I'm writing my book. It's called The Good Priest. It's available on Wattpad now. And I said, so you want to take it on for a show, a book? I'm like, how about, we started after I finished filming the pilot so that this way I can be, I can be relaxed about that and I can jump onto the show and I can be fully immersed in the show. Now, my mind's here, my mind's there, just to be truly into the show. So we agreed, okay, in June, we'll start the show. And we did. And next said, yeah, episode 1. Here's that image of us from episode 1. And yeah, that was pretty much how I looked most of the episode, looking down every now and then I'd look up, but it was like that. And Jamie, we did 2 reviews that day. Jamie had picked for me to review Batman White Knight, and I picked for him to review The Punisher, Circle of Blood. That was the day I gave out my first 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, so now not only do I love the story of Batman White Knight, but it also has a special place in my heart as it was the first story reviewed on the Codex podcast. And look at that, here we are. Now in episode 157. We've had many characters. We've had plenty of hosts. We've had, many things. It was the Codex podcast. Even in the beginning, everything was the Codex podcast, our Instagram, our Facebook. And then after a few months, Jamie did say, I want to do more shows. I want it to be a station. And I did say, I'll be honest with you. I'm like, I'm not going to have the time to do a show with this week, or this day, that day, that day. So then that's when Jamie started looking for others as well. We agreed on that. And then, one show became 2, became 3, became 4. We released shorts and things like that. And we got one-shots. And then one-shots became full-on interviews. And now we have a full team. We have a full station with many shows, many fans. And at the end of episode 1, we were like, he said something like, we got 2 people watching. And I'm like, thank you, all 2 of you. But I did say, and in the future, all the others who watch, which I know there will be more, thank you all as well. So we have grown. Sometimes it seems like slowly, but surely we continue to grow. The station, look at that. There was a time we were like, oh, we finally got 10 subscribers. And now we're over 1,000.
That's very good.
But Uncle Gary, everybody, it's been a long time since those days. Before we started, Jamie said, how about we do promos? Like wrestling style. And I said, okay, I'm into that. I'll get into it. So I made a promo video leading up, and I'm going to play it for everybody to watch.
Oh, this should be very embarrassing.
So Jamie Wojcik, DJ J-Dub, Supernatural, whatever his name is this week, wants to talk about comic books with me on the Codex podcast. I'm gonna make him look like a fool! Well, let me tell you something. This guy honestly thinks comic books are better nowadays than they were back in the 80s and 90s. He's probably never even read a comic from the 70s or before. I will school him week after week with wit and knowledge, 2 things he doesn't have. I'll quickly give you a couple examples of why the classic comics beat these new ones. For instance, we were excited about weddings like the wedding between Cyclops and Jean Grey, and not Hulkling and Wycon. Back when our women looked like women. He's gonna be crying after each podcast is over! They want me to tell you to like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz, to pick hashtag Team Sunny or hashtag Team Jamie, but I'm not gonna do it because I don't feel like it. I do what I want. Jamie Wojcik is just a no-good piece of trash! If he really wants to get into this Team Sunny or Team Jamie thing, he's gonna learn real fast that not only is he not anywhere near as good-looking or as talented as me, but he's nowhere near as popular as me either. Jamie Wojcik isn't half the man that I am, and he doesn't have half the brain that I do. He's a chump. A loser. The Codex podcast is coming soon, and don't expect me to beg you to watch it. Just know that if you do, you'll be in for a treat, because you'll get to see and hear more of me.
Wow.
That was the first video of the Codex station.
And yet somehow we're still here anyway.
Still here, even yeah. Uncle Gary, before you were the Ric Flair of comic books, I was in my robe.
Wow. That was did Jamie even show up for the next show after all? Or was that a solo show?
That was before. And Jamie had a reply, and I will play. Let's see. First, we got a comment. All right, and Liz laughed as well as Boosh, and Boosh says, "Sonny has Arn Anderson's head, Fabulous Moolah's body." No. She could take a bump though. She was able to go through tables.
Did Moolah have that much chest hair? Jesus.
But all right, Jamie did have a response. All right, so here's that response.
Sonny Kruger, SK, Mr. Cakes. See, I know all your names too. I know a lot more about you than you know about me. See, I've seen you reach that top of the mountain. I've seen you hit new strides that most people can only dream of. But no one's ever seen you fall. And that is my personal goal when we launch the Codex podcast. Week after week, I am going to tear you apart. No one can stop this. No one's going to stop this. I'm gonna make you quit everything you love based on this one aspect of our lives. See, what people don't know is that you are a liar. You're a cheat. You've been cheating them out of this for a while now. We should have launched this in January. And it took to now for this to come out. And now we gotta wait even longer for the first episode because, you know, Sonny's filming a little TV series skit thing he's doing. It's called The Series About a Series. It's a real original name, right? I know. Sonny, you came after a lot about me, calling me a piece of trash. Talking about how you don't care if anyone likes or subscribes. So you feed off that. You need that in your life. You need that. So that way it inflicts your ego. Makes you feel a little bit better inside. I don't. I fought for everything. I've crawled. Blood, sweat, and tears. You have never had to do that. And come launch day for the Codex podcast, I'm gonna make you realize it. So this isn't a game to me. It might be to you, but I'm ending this.
Well, he went the low-key approach.
He was on the ladder and everything, and he even mentioned a series about a series. But
which now that you finished that, wouldn't Perfect Symmetry mean you walk off the stage here too?
No, I can't do that. I need my Wednesdays.
You need your Wednesdays.
Yeah, just kind of related promise. We could, but you know what? Jamie wasn't done. He still was going on.
He's still talking.
I had to push the video in 2 parts, so here's part 2.
And you want to show examples of comics from back then that look like half-assed characters that, you know, the little cousins can draw? Here's some examples. Would you just look at how great all these examples are of 1960s and 1970s comics? All covers from the original series. And then we have this gem. This is a recent comic from Batman. Look at the artwork. Weren't those some great examples? It was like we were brought back into the 1960s and 70s. My personal favorite, The Invisible Man. The artwork was immaculate. And then I showed you the real art, modern comics. It's gonna blow everything out the water for Sonny. He's got no chance. But Sonny, there's one thing that you did bring up that made me laugh. You think I'm jealous of your looks? By far, I know I'm not the best looker. But this is coming from the guy that looks like he shouldn't be allowed within 500 feet of a school district or a playground. I don't get it. But to everyone out there, if you want to be on Sonny's side, hashtag Team Sonny. If you want to be on the winning side, hashtag Team Jamie. Follow, like, subscribe. We're going to be on all platforms. Codex Podcast is coming soon. Hopefully sooner than later if Sonny actually gets his game together. We'll see you guys there.
Well, there you go. That's
There we go.
not quite a spirited rebuttal, but a rebuttal.
Hey, those covers, he was talking about the 60s and 70s stuff. That's what you absolutely love.
Oh, well, you're right. See, he's wrong on that one. The Invisible Man cover was stellar, though.
I did like that. I did tell myself that was my favorite part of his promo because
Yeah.
it was Invisible Man, nothing. So
That's right.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time on that one.
Bruce says, yeah, today is better technology. You know what? But yeah, it was good. Like, we did agree in the beginning. We said, I know more of the older stuff. He was more of the recent stuff. And then look at that. He did show me he introduced me to many comic books that are more recent that I do absolutely love. And I've introduced him to some of the older ones that he's loved. And I think, others have as well.
Sonny, your older stuff, I consider recent stuff.
Yeah. What was, but I did, I was the one who picked out, one of the ones I picked out for him was, I think the one time he gave a book I picked out a 10 out of 10 was The Judas Contract. It was one of the ones I picked out, yeah.
Mighty Mike Harbor would have given that a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, so. Let's see. Bruce says the art is good, but they can always make it pop more nowadays. I do love it. In the promo, Jamie showed those covers. I do love a lot of those covers.
Well, a lot of it nowadays, too, is paper quality.
Yeah.
So with the quality of the paper now, that creates the interior. But in the old days, the covers could be pretty spectacular, but the interiors struggled with paper quality. But that doesn't mean there wasn't some fine art on them.
Yeah, and that's too, like, sometimes that's like the way we want to see certain characters. I mean, I love certain ways when I look at now and I see, especially some of these variant covers or inside, like, wow, like that's such beautiful artwork. But sometimes the way it was before, it was like that's how. Like that was the way they were, and I love it the way they were as well. Sometimes I like the characters to look realistic, and sometimes I like them to look comic book style, since the comic book characters. Yeah, it's been some good times, and then we had that first show. Again, there's that picture. Then we had episode 2, which is still to this day, episode 2 is the shortest episode. It was like 35 minutes or something. And then the next week, Jamie's computer crashed. And he's the one who would post. He's the one who would do the links and everything. So there was a canceled episode on our third week. And I said, Jamie, maybe we should make a video. Maybe you could post something. So, hey, guys, I'm sorry it was canceled. And then the day of, he wasn't there. So I came through for the rescue. So here's that video I posted, SK to the rescue. Prepare to be blown away.
Sonny Kruger here from the Codex Podcast. So some techno-organic virus got a hold of Jamie's desktop and murdered it. And Jamie was supposed to send you guys an apology that we won't be able to do a show this week. But he's nowhere to be found. So let's just assume that the virus got a hold of him and is doing horribly violent things to him. So now I'm going to have to save the day, but I can tell you that we will be back next week, Wednesday, 5:30, 5 o'clock for the pre-show. The Codex Podcast will be back, and every week after that at the same time. And I will make sure, I will be hosting this show, so I will make sure that we make up for lost time. We'll be going over the annuals we picked. I picked Silver Surfer Annual 6, Jamie picked Red Hood and the Outlaws Annual number 1. And I have a surprise for him that even he doesn't know about. And I'm not going to tell him until the show. So, I have to go save the day, I have to see what's going on, take care of this virus, no matter if it's the deceased virus, or it's the feelings virus, technogallic virus, whatever it is. I'm gonna take this thing down, I'm gonna chop this thing down, make sure it's all good, and we will see you all next week on the Codex Podcast. Be there.
There you go.
And there you go. That was how I saved us. And then after that, we've went week after week after week. And then now, here we are. We've gone through many hosts. We've gone through quite a few years of Codex, and now we are on officially year number. We've gone through 4 years of the Codex Podcast / the Codex Station. Like I said, after a few months, Jamie wanted to add in more shows. That it was not just a podcast. We're a station, and we have many shows. And that's right. Still to this day, we have many. Even when it comes down to Count Character of the Week, that has even passed over 100 episodes. I'm sure Unleashed too. I know Unleashed's name changed, but still the same as After Dark, yeah. So everyone, I thank you all for joining us, the Codex Podcast. has been enjoying my life for 4 years. I'm happy. I'm blessed. I get to enjoy my life. I get to enjoy doing this every week. I get to talk about comic books and news and get reviews from from everybody. Jamie's picked out stories and you pick out stories and everybody. So there's been plenty 10 out of 10s from me. And, that's because I truly love these stories. And I'm like, I have no complaints. And then there's some that maybe I don't love with the 10 out of 10, but I still enjoy reading them. I always enjoy. The only time I didn't enjoy reading a comic book was, Harbinger, and that was one I just happened to read on my own, and then I said, you know what, I'll pick this one to review for Jamie and Tim as well, because I didn't just want to share the badness myself. I said I'll share this with them as well. But other than that,
Very nice of you.
yeah, other than that, I thought I'm like, maybe we'll at least destroy it in a review, and then I didn't care for the review either. I'm like, man, I just need to stay away from Harbinger. We all have that one story we just don't like and don't want. Jamie's is Exo Man of War. Mine is Harbinger. Uncle Gary, do you have a story? Is there a certain comic out there that you're just like, this is the one I absolutely can't stand. I don't ever want to read it again.
The Clone Saga was pretty bad.
Okay, that's right there.
For Spider-Man. And then, anger-wise, the Spider-Man, Mary Jane, Mephisto.
One More Day. Right?
One More Day. Yeah, it makes me mad. That just pisses me off to this day. Yeah.
Oh, so those are the stories you stay away from. And so we so if you pick that for me, I'll know that you're just putting it, that you're just
be
trying
mean.
Just to be mean.
Well, no, we still have to give you something like the Pro to read.
So there you go. Perfect thing to talk about.
That'd be a podcast after dark episode.
So this summer we've got. I know sometimes the summer things get busy. Sometimes that's why there's shows that are missed. So I would apologize to anybody. Hey, if sometimes we have to miss a week here or there, but we got some big things coming up. Another year for the Codex podcast, and yes, that will include an uncensored episode, and we will be reviewing that story.
The Pro.
Uncle Gary, will you hold on 1 second as I grab this story that I've got right next to me?
There it is.
I'm ready.
Have you read it yet?
I read this when I first got it one day.
Did you feel dirty afterwards?
I was laughing hysterically, and I'm like, one day we got to do this, but I didn't know. I'm like, it has to be uncensored, so we can just go all out.
You'll never think of a superhero saving a plane full of people the same way again.
No way. And there's so many things about that I could really start talking to you about. I'm like, I'm going to wait. I even have some F-listers picked out for that day. There's certain F-listers that can't be picked out. And, maybe I'll pick out, we've talked about, remember, Amputee Love, and maybe I'll have to do some editing so that we could finally show that image, but it will have to be still a bit edited. Maybe put some Codex symbols, logos over some stuff. But yes, big stuff coming through for the Codex podcast. Like I said, plenty of great stories we're going to be reviewing. Like I said, an uncensored episode. We will be reviewing
the Pro.
And we've got some other ones as well. And everybody, remember, feel free to let us know stories you want us to review. If you want us to review here on Codex, if you just want somebody to do a review on their own, if you say, hey, I want it to be a specific episode when it's so-and-so and so-and-so, feel free to let us know. We'd like to hear your opinions on things, what you like, what you don't like. Unless if it's me, then keep that opinion to yourself. But
nobody feels that way.
Thank you. Glad to hear it. But everybody, it's been a great time. And Uncle Gary, thank you for joining us a little over a year ago. You joined us in the Codex podcast, in the rotating schedule that every week it is and I. And then sometimes if it's Mighty Mike, sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's a very busy man with work.
Very important man.
Yeah. Every now and then he has to miss, but usually it's you and I every other week. And then we got Sal coming in. We got Dan coming in. I don't know. Maybe Jamie will come join us sometime. I know it's a Wednesday. Sometimes it's not always the easiest day for everybody to jump on, but many good times for Codex.
Well, you know what? I think Jamie will make his presence known every now and then. He can't let you can't let you run by yourself the whole time. He's got to rein you in a little bit before you get a little little uppity.
Me? No, I'm too humble for that.
Thanks,
Liz,
Liz.
that's great, sugar. Thank you very much. You get a star. But thank you, everybody. Like I said, it's truly an honor for me to do this every Wednesday. I like to come out here, like I said, have fun, talk about comic books, do other fun things to F list and Variant Insanity and all that. And I hope that I bring you all some joy. I hope we all do. That I like for the podcast, the station. We all want it to be a place that everyone can come to. You can relax, have fun, laugh, learn some things about comic books. Feel free to put your opinions about comic books out there. Life sometimes gets crazy and there's just going on and that. So we like to take you away from things and just help you have a good time, at least for a little bit. Bruce says Garth Ennis on Demon would be a cool one to cover. I remember the annual was the first appearance of Hitman.
Oh, so good.
I do remember, yeah. Bruce says hell of a show and happy birthday.
Thank you, Boosh.
Thank you. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate you all. I say thank you very much. Don't forget, before I do let you go, where are we on, Uncle Gary?
We're on all the socials, every single damn one of them, positively, absolutely dripping with them. And we want to give them to you. Hit that button.
Yes, and if you want to get some merch, like a Codex shirt or a hoodie or a sticker, get some merch, meet the team, all that, you can go to www.thecodexstation.com. And that is right. If you're looking to find Uncle Gary, the Ric Flair of comics, you find him at Comic Logic.
Yes.
And the address is put down right there for you.
Come see us. Love to see you.
And if you're looking for me, you can just type in my name, Sonny Kruger. You can type that in on Google or Yahoo. Usually Google will lead you to a lot more stuff with me. So you can see me when I'm on TikTok being a buffoon. You can see me when I'm writing books and being very serious. You can see me all over the place. And of course, we're always here on the Codex Station. So I thank you all. I hope you all have a day, a week, a year that is a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Next year, when we're at this point, we'll be saying Codex has been around for half a decade. So big things ahead for the Codex podcast and the whole Codex Station. I'm Sonny Kruger. I'm joined by my co-host, the Ric Flair of comic books himself, Uncle Gary. I wish you all a good night.
Happy trails.